This summary of Just Listen, Discover the Secret to Getting Through to Absolutely Anyone by Mark Golston is about to begin. Enjoy. Key point 1. Don't shout over the walls. Break them. Is there anyone you struggle to get through to? Maybe it's your partner, teenage child, or a team member. Sometimes it may seem that you speak different languages, and the more you push, the more resistance you encounter. Imagine that life's hardships are like walls. Convincing a person in turmoil is like shouting to reach them. No matter how loud you are, they can't hear you. However, if you help them break those walls from the inside, you'll switch on to their wavelength. Getting through to others is not about saying the right thing, but encouraging them to share. The first step is to make the person buy in, or make them listen and talk instead of resisting. As soon as they start answering and considering your words, they may be willing to act, change their behavior, and feel happy about it. Ask open-ended questions to invite the speaker to share more details and elaborate on their thoughts. Whether you are a professional negotiator, desperate parent, or ambitious employee, getting through to others is your key to success. Follow through to communicate like a pro and resolve various situations, from Christmas dinner quarrels to hostage emergencies. Key point 2. The anatomy of connection. Communication starts not with language, but with the brain. Before pitching your idea or discussing your parental duties, ensure the person's mind is available, or check what level of the brain they are at. The most basic level is fight or flight mode, when a person cannot perceive information. On the middle level, a person acts and thinks through the lens of emotions like anger, love, or jealousy. The upper brain is the part that can collect, consider, and analyze information. This is the level you strive for in a conversation. However, you won't always know what level the person is at. For example, when your child throws a tantrum, you know it's impossible to talk them into taking a bath or going to bed. However, adult behavior is not always so apparent. You may approach a teammate to give them feedback, and they will explode with anger and frustration because they have a personal problem. A small brain part called the amygdala regulates a sudden switch from a seemingly peaceful to an agitated state. When a person feels threatened, this area can shut off their higher brain and push them into primitive mode, a process called amygdala hijack. The amygdala manages people's reactions even if they feel a minor threat to their finances, lifestyle, or ego. Imagine firing one of your employees. Their amygdala will light up like a Christmas tree because their financial security, prospects, and plans are ruined. If you don't help the person manage those emotions, their amygdala may launch the lid to the ceiling. Paraphrase what you've heard to verify your understanding and show the speaker that you are actively listening. Another brain area that can transform your communication skills is mirror neurons, also called Dalai Lama neurons or empathy neurons. These cells help you sympathize with a book character's struggle, or cringe when someone eats a lemon. Eventually, you may need others to mirror or empathize with your joys and sorrows. When you are deprived of it, you'll feel angry, sad, or even depressed. That's why responding to someone's mirror neuron receptor deficit is vital for mutual understanding, trust, and fruitful communication. Did you know? Have you ever wondered why yawning is so contagious? According to a PositivePsychology.com article from September 2023, mirror neurons make you yawn when someone else does because it promotes social bonding. Key point 3. Getting through to yourself first. To handle someone's emotions, you must first control yours. It's easy to break down when confronting a hostile client or angry teen. And when it happens, you risk losing the situation, opportunity, and possibly the person. The key to winning is poise under stress. Paul Brown. Now, imagine if you could cool down and restore your position in less than 2 minutes. You can remain steady when your partner is yelling or if your boss scolds you by using the 5-step OF to OK strategy. 1. OF. Realize and name your emotions. Don't talk to anyone in the first few seconds if your feelings are powerful. 2. Oh God. Slow down and release your emotions through breathing. Close your eyes if it helps you refocus. 3. Oh geez. Recenter by going through all these stages a few times. Keep breathing. 4. Oh well. Think about what you can do to control the damage and solve the problem. 5. Okay. Act. With practice, you'll move through these steps in minutes. Another vital rule for connection is trying to see the other person as they are now, not as they were a year ago or as our default setting tells us. According to Rick Middleton, founder of the communication company called Executive Expression, as soon as we meet others, we judge them by gender, age, nationality, education level, and emotionality. Thus, we jump to conclusions and expect certain behaviors before we know them. For instance, think about a teammate you always have trouble with. Perhaps they are rude or never complete their part of the work on time. You may call them a jerk or loser, cementing the established perception. But what if your view is false? What if they have a sick parent they tend to, which impedes their professional growth? Or they battle an addiction that makes them less emotionally stable? Strive to look for reasons instead of calling names, and see a person anew instead of jumping to conclusions. Before stepping on someone's toes, try to walk in their shoes. Finally, use mirror neurons when dealing with an intensely emotional person. Instead of heating up your emotions, focus on what they are feeling and why. Everyone wants to feel felt, so address that person's state before asking for anything or giving feedback. Say, I can see you're frustrated with this project. I too feel this way sometimes. Tell me what I can do to help you. Key point 4. Strategies for connection in all life scenarios. Communication, just like business or sports, has its rules and hacks. Knowing them lets you better manage your emotions, foresee future steps, and improvise quickly and confidently. Check these tips to communicate like a pro. To be interesting, be curious. Treat conversation not as tennis, but as a detective game. Strive to hear someone else's story. However, remember faking interest is like crying wolf. Sooner or later, the truth may come out, leaving a nasty feeling for both. Make your allies and enemies feel valued. Yep, you've got it right. Troublemakers need to be reassured even more than those you cherish. If you have people in your family or workplace constantly getting on your nerves, create a scenario where they can feel important and tell them you value their contribution. Help them breathe. When dealing with people in distress, the first step is to distance them from this state. Imagine them standing on a cliff, desperate because of their workload or family problems. When you put more weight on their shoulders, you push them over the edge. Instead, guide them to exhale. For example, don't interrupt or fight if your partner is venting or complaining. Instead, say, "Tell me more." Eventually, they'll start breathing and make headspace for a fruitful conversation. Avoid dissonance through honest communication. Often, people perceive you not as you see yourself. For instance, you may think you are sincere and confident, while others see you as blunt and arrogant. So ask your friends which of your merits people see differently and why. Then, verbally set your intentions and clear up anything that can create dissonance. Bare your neck. Silencing and suppressing a problem only makes it worse. That's why many people break down in the office after a simple comment, or start yelling when a partner complains about a minor issue. These people feel a considerable mirror neuron deficit. If you tell them about your grievances, turmoils, or failures, you'll create a safe space for them to share and listen. Spot a toxic and run. Everyone can complain, whine, or be inconsiderate sometimes. Therefore, check for any toxicity you can demonstrate in a workplace or home and deal with it before addressing your coworker or partner. However, when it comes to bullies, narcissists, and psychopaths, you must be on alert. Usually, it's better to avoid such people altogether. To be humane, share your weaknesses. Key point 5. How to mirror without intruding. When you know the basics of effective communication, you can learn and master the tools to improve your sales, presentation, or pillow talk. You can even use them to communicate with yourself. We all know how nasty self-talk can get. Check the following strategies out. The impossibility question. Sometimes you can get through to someone because they think you demand too much. So, after stating what seems impossible, like hitting a desired revenue or completing more tasks, ask, what would make it possible? Your goal is to make the person change the frame from, it's never going to happen, to, I can do this, I just need the right tools. Most of the things worth doing in the world had been declared impossible before they were done. Louis D. Brandeis. The Magic Paradox. This technique works particularly well when you want to help someone move from resisting to listening and considering your words. It works by appealing to their mirror neuron deficit. Recognizing and uttering the individual's feelings can help them feel heard, understood, and felt. For example, choose a person you struggle with and say calmly, I bet you feel that you can't do what I ask you to do, is that right? If the person nods, go on. I bet you have your reasons for it, and maybe you feel like you can't share it with me or anyone else. Is that true? If the person disagrees, ask them to correct you. If not, continue until the person opens up to communicating their issues or viewpoint, and you can cooperate to solve it. Give the person you're talking to your full attention to show respect and appreciation. The empathy jolt. Like Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort, anger and empathy cannot exist simultaneously. Therefore, if you shift your blaming and aggression to compassion, the person on the defensive starts reacting differently. This method is particularly effective when you are the third party in the conversation. Envision being a team leader talking to two employees, Ben and Jesse, who don't get along. You aim to help them mirror each other without intervening in the process. In turn, ask them questions like, Ben, what do you think is the most frustrating thing for Jessie when working with you? How does that make her feel? Helping them step into each other's shoes makes them more understanding and patient with each other. Key point 6. Humility turns enemies into allies. The following group of techniques focuses on dealing with difficult people, or those who can react with anger, exaggeration, or cold resentment. The reverse play. When you have a person who disappoints you or behaves worse than you know they could, this approach can drastically transform your relationship and their behavior. Here's how you do it. 1. Rate how much you are dissatisfied with this person. 2. Think of the things they may not like about you. Be honest about it. 3. Sit down with them and tell them you've invited them here not to scold or criticize. 4. Calmly and sincerely describe things they may hold against you, asking if that is correct after each such statement. 5. Ask if there's anything else they would like to change or don't feel okay with. 6. Thank them for their courage and honesty. This approach can help your child, partner, or employee see your humility and openness to feedback. You also set an excellent example for them and they'll fear disappointing you. In a month, see if the behavior changes. The truth detector. In the middle of a heated conversation or argument, it's easy to say things you don't mean. So when dealing with someone who likes to exaggerate, let the accusations slide down your back, and then ask them curiously and calmly, do you really believe that? Remember that you aren't confronting them, but helping them see that they may be making a mountain out of a molehill. If the person persists in saying yes, you may have severe issues to solve. However, in most cases, this technique will help the person calm down and see the problem objectively. You can show someone you are on their team when you listen instead of judging. The switch. Customer service representatives deal with angry consumers more than happy ones because the latter rarely call to thank them for the product. If you work in such a sphere or have a teenage child, complaints and anger may be the main characters in your communication play. However, what if instead of defending or fighting back, you pause and say, The person may get angrier, but then you continue. Tell me more. This way, you transform from a bad guy who sells trash or a terrible parent who doesn't want to help into their ally. Key point 7. Preventative strategy wins the game. Significant connections need more than good rhetoric. You can prevent negative scenarios or relationship crises if you are consistently interested in others, honest, and compassionate. And these approaches can help you improve your communication in the long run. The power thank you. A simple thank you is okay when someone helps you with a suitcase or offers you a coffee. But if someone goes the extra mile or sacrifices something to help you, you need a power thank you. It takes 3 stages. 1. Thank them and name what they did or stopped doing for you. Imagine communicating with your teenage child. I am so grateful that you took my words seriously and stopped breaking things when you feel angry. 2. Acknowledge their effort. It must be hard to control your emotions sometimes. I can't even imagine how much strength it takes to do that. 3. Tell them how this change affected your life. Now I feel safe and can talk to you openly and honestly, knowing that you will react as an adult. This technique is particularly effective with loved ones, friends, and coworkers who made something significant for you. Genuine connection needs depth, so don't neglect or minimize others' efforts. The stipulation gambit. Stipulation happens when 2 parties agree on something in advance, like lawyers who stipulate about some already proven fact and don't bring the matter to court. On the contrary, when you try to hide something small, people will think you have more skeletons in your closet. Therefore, if you know that some issue will arise at any point, state it beforehand. Avoid planning your response while listening to stay fully engaged with the speaker's message. Transformational questions. Most of our communication is transactional. Where did you put my keys? What are the job's bonuses? Why didn't you make the product's demo by today? These questions will not change human behavior. However, you can connect when you ask yourself, what question will show this person I'm interested in their project, future, or life? Many will recognize that no one has asked them such things before, or they have never considered this. You can also ask yourself, what do I need to do more now to feel happier or healthier in 5 years? Or what will I feel if I'm still at this job next year? Transactional questions get things done, while transformational queries move life forward. Conclusion. Many say we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth, to listen 2 times more than talking. Although it may seem absurd, effective communication relies more on listening than sharing your thoughts. Indeed, sometimes getting through to somebody simply requires hearing them out. Therefore, prepare to listen before reacting and consider before rejecting. Try this. Write your list of expectations for your family, employees, or friends. Then see if you meet these expectations. This list can help determine if your reasons and judgments are honest and just. Think of the goal for yourself or your company that you believe is impossible. Ask yourself or your team, what would make it possible? And brainstorm the best solutions. Give yourself a daily empathy jolt by putting yourself in the shoes of people you don't like and considering different scenarios that could make them who they are now. Summary complete. Please take a moment to rate it so we can help you grow in the best way possible.